Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 198 of the Ringside Rundown podcast. My name is Erik Vasquez, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. She's coming straight from the Berg. She is none other than Shay Hickson. Shay, what's going on, my friend? How was your week?
It's been pretty good so far. I can't complain. I think we kind of talked about it a little bit on the last episode about my need for a gaming laptop, and I do now and have in my possession a gaming laptop, and it is it's great. It's nice having a computer that I'm not worried it's going to blow up if I play a game from 2005. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm actually using it to record tonight, and you said it didn't sound bad on the pre-recording meetings, so I think we should be good.
No, I think it sounds great. I think this will solve that choppy issue we were having a couple episodes back then on your end where it would kind of cut out. I think it's going to solve that issue, no problem.
I'm hoping, because I feel like I still have my old laptop, just kind of like in case kind of thing. It's just the problem is I've had that since, oh God. Like my friend that was helping me with my gaming computer setup said, he's like, if you can't even remember as long as you've had that computer, it's been too long. And it's been on Windows 10 forever. So when I got upgraded to Windows 11, I knew it was kind of going to be working a little harder than it should. So I'm just like, it's time to get a new one anyway.
Nice. Well, welcome to the future, or the present, I guess. And I'm glad that you're enjoying your new laptop.
Thank you. Definitely feels nice to get with the times, I guess, but
yes.
Can't complain.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's episode. It's going to be a good one. For those of you that don't know who we are the Ringside Rundown podcast. It's a podcast about pro wrestling, and what we do is answer questions sent in by our loyal listeners about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling, like what's going on in WWE, what's going on in AEW. It could be something outside like TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan. You know, I just watched my first ever Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling show in full the other day, and it was a ton of fun. I gotta say, it was a ton of fun. They even had a giant 7-foot panda wrestling, and it was interesting.
Hey, I mean, why not, right? Like, I think I saw clips of that, so that's hilarious. But no, I'm glad you were able to enjoy it and had a good time. And why not?
It was great, and the wrestling was great. A friend of mine stopped by, and it was on, and we instantly got sucked in. It was like watching something brand new from wrestling for the first time ever. That's the cool part about wrestling, is that it's always evolving. There's always something new coming out to check out. Yeah. You know, it's a never-ending cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it really is. It's just, we always say when it comes to wrestling, it's like, yeah, it's toxic and, negative as a fan base or a community of whatever it could be. There really is something for everybody when it comes to wrestling. If you like more technical side, you like the more traditional wrestling style, there's places for you, there's wrestlers for you. If you like the death matches, God knows there's enough for that for some people. If you just like high flying, it's like you pretty much can find anything. If you can't find something wrestling that you like, then odds are you're probably just not going to like wrestling in general. So that's just the good thing about it. It's just ever expanding and just covers everybody.
Yep, and we love wrestling, and we love talking about wrestling, and that's what we do. We answer questions sent in by our loyal listeners, and stay tuned to the end of the show. We'll let you know how you can submit your own question if you want to participate in a podcast episode with us and ask us a wrestling related question. I feel like tonight I should just drop a disclaimer. The episode might be a little light, but we're still going to make the best of it. I'm still excited to get into these questions. We got some really, really good questions coming in this week for tonight's episode.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, a little bit on the shorter side than what we're used to, but still, I think enough that we will definitely get a pretty good episode in.
I think so.
All right, so let's see where we can start here. We're going to start off with mom's questions and whatnot. I'm going to jumble hers around a little bit because I know we always like saving like the most talked about questions for last. So this one's kind of more for me, not so much for you, because I am the enemy to you and you're the enemy to me. But did you see that Chelsea Green was at the Steelers HQ last week? And she had a great kick on her broken foot and she kicked a field goal and everything. So good for her. But yeah, I saw all over Twitter she was there. And because I didn't actually end up going to SmackDown, just full disclosure, I just didn't want to spend the money. It's funny that I had multiple people ask me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you at least look into ticket prices and what they were looking like?
Yeah, it was still in the hundreds of dollars. So I just like that's a whole other. I honestly think that's a whole other topic we'll be talking about later in the show. But it's just like I had multiple people asking me, "Oh, hey, you're going to SmackDown, right? It's tonight. Are you going?" And it's like, no, I'm actually not, because I mean, I just bought my gaming laptop. I have some tattoos coming up. I just would rather spend my money on other things. I have priorities, and yeah, I just could not justify spending that much money on a wrestling show. And from what I saw, it was one of the worst rated on cage match in history. So
Yeah,
really didn't miss much apparently. So I lucked out on that one, I guess.
yeah, that was so weird. It was a weird episode of SmackDown for sure. Just the way the finishes kind of mimicked each other. Everything was kind of the same. They really didn't deviate from different finishes and stuff like that. But it's so weird because I feel like we live in such a nitpicky time where everything is dissected that sometimes, like me, it just all sounds like noise.
Yeah, it was funny to me because the one thing I kept noticing on Twitter was, oh my God, I just saw the spoiler for tonight, and if that's true, I'm fucking pissed. And it was literally the same tweet, just in several different like wordings all over Twitter.
Mm.
And I knew I wasn't gonna be able to watch it, so I'm like, I'll just like listen to, or I'll just figure it out and see what happens. And then when I saw that it was Sammy beating Carmella for the title, I was like, that is uh that is something that they did. And I can see why I don't know, I can see why they're mad, because you have Sammy win this title, and then immediately it's, oh yeah, it's him and Trick at WrestleMania and fuck Carmelo. It's just like, so Sammy loses to Aleister Black last week, or a couple weeks ago, I can't remember. I think it was last week. And then he immediately gets a title shot the next week, wins that title, and now he automatically has a match at WrestleMania, and the guy he beat the title, or took the title from, gets nothing.
Yeah, I instantly said the same thing. I wish that Carmelo Hayes was somehow a part of this equation that is happening at WrestleMania, because I fully think he deserves it. You know, the way he carried the United States Championship, gave it some lineage and gave it a little bit more prestige than some of its counterparts did that held it before he did. So I was hoping that maybe Carmelo Hayes would be a part of this equation. It doesn't seem like he is, and that's the crazy part about WrestleMania. And I think that's the kind of mindset we've gained from these past couple WrestleManias. Is now what we look for is who's going to get a spot on the show and who's going to get left out, and who justifiably gets a spot on the show and who justifiably gets left out. Or unjustifiably, because there's always going to be somebody that's going to argue the contrary, you know,
Yeah.
and that's just the way that it goes in this sort of dynamic. There's just always going to be somebody to argue the contrary. You just never going to have a unanimous sort of thing with people in the wrestling community. But that's what I feel like WrestleMania is looked at right now, is like who gets a spot on the show and who gets left out.
Yeah, and I think the weird thing about it is that putting Carmelo into this match really wouldn't have been that much of a stretch. And I also don't think it would have been bad, because of course him and Trick have insane chemistry together. Sammy fits in well with those two as well. All Carmelo had to do was just like, this is bullshit. I want my title back. I want a rematch. And then Trix can still come in, and he can still come in and argue that, oh yeah, need my match and want my match too. So it's not rocket science. You don't have to like go through a litmus test to figure out if this would have been like a good match. So it's just the fact that I don't know why they don't think Carmelo couldn't add to that. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I feel like once again, this whole build up to this WrestleMania is just very fishy in some spots. Kind of gives you that vibe from last year all over again, where it's just like, Actually, you know what? No, I feel like last year's was like, it was almost the opposite, where it was like, oh my God, WrestleMania 40 was so great. I can't fucking wait for 41. This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
But then you kind of had the the heel turn and everything and whatever, and it was just like, it's just like, okay, and then you feel like you were kind of like disappointed by it, and it was so sad because my dad and I were talking about it this weekend. And my dad's not a wrestling fan, like at all. I got it from mom. He only watches it if he's like forced to, essentially, if we just want to like watch something. And he's like, I still remember when you and we were all here and it was for WrestleMania 41, and I had a couple of my friends over and we were watching, and he's just like, and I'm just sitting there just like, I am so bored. I'm so bored. I don't know how you guys watch it. And I'm like, unfortunately, Dad, that was not the most ideal WrestleMania to watch. If you
Yeah.
were trying to like get people invested, that was absolutely probably one of the worst options you could have picked. But you can't argue with them. Like, you really can't, because overall, I think WrestleMania 41 was a letdown. And so you would think that they have more pressure on them this year to do better than they did last year.
Mm.
Except I don't really know if it's kind of, I don't really think it's translating very well. I think the whole like underselling and like underperforming in the ticket sales department is kind of like looming over this. And we have a question about that in a minute that we'll get to, but it's just like, yeah, it just kind of seems like the buildup for this year is just a little funky compared to past years. But
Right.
you can't really WWE can't really argue it because it's a product of their own creation. So I mean,
But
you made
see,
your bed with this, you just lie with it. He's like, this is what you guys asked for.
I feel like I'm in the minority because I, for one, am enjoying the build up between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. I'm enjoying the build up between Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. Those two matches I'm really, really looking forward to. And then they just added like the ladder match. That's gonna be, I
Yeah.
think it's like a six-way ladder match. It's gonna have everybody from Penta, obviously, who's the champion, Rusev, JD McDonough, Dragon Lee. There, and it's gonna be insane. So I'm like weirdly enjoying this build up to WrestleMania, and I have a feeling like, especially with Roman Reigns and CM Punk, I feel like maybe that is going to deliver in ways that the main event last year didn't deliver. Um,
I'm hoping. I mean,
it,
I
it's
feel
just
like,
it's just tough because WrestleMania Philly is never going to be replicated. I
oh
think
God,
that
no.
I think that sets the benchmark of what is a good WrestleMania based upon the storytelling leading up to it. I don't think we're always gonna be chasing that dragon, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what WWE is going to look at and say, this is our white rabbit. This is the one we go for. And sometimes they're gonna fall short, sometimes they're gonna hit a home run. I'm banking on a home run, but I'm an optimistic wrestling fan. You know,
Yeah.
I try to be as positive as possible and realistic at the same time. I'm weirdly enjoying this build up to WrestleMania, but I can understand there's a couple of holes in a couple places.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the main matches aren't, I guess, really the problem. I would assume it feels like it's like everything else, but I think the advantage they have going for them this year is that, kind of like talking from last year, there was such high hope for that main event going into it that when it actually happened, it was just like obviously generally panned as a massive disappointment. So I feel like they can go up from here on this one, where it's like, okay, well, maybe if people don't have their expectations set so high, then maybe they'll be pleasantly surprised by this one. And I feel like they will, because if they can manage to fuck up Roman Reigns and CM Punk, then we'll have a problem and we'll have to talk about that after the show. But it's just like, I feel like they have a little bit more, um, the bar's not as high. But yeah, the problem with WrestleMania 40 is just ideally, yes, you would like to have something like that again, but realistically, you'd have to have so many different things just fall into place at the exact same time to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, and it just looking back on it now, it was just, I mean, obviously being there and whatever, it was just like, you just look back on it and go, there's probably like nothing like this that's ever gonna like happen again. At least that I'll be a part of, because again, it was just the whole like main event, all those aspects and all those pieces leading up to it and how it almost didn't even happen. And then it ended up happening because it was just like a movement, no matter how much, somebody would like to say otherwise. And that, oh, I took credit for like changing that main event. Trust me, it was all me. It wasn't. Like, the Brock can bullshit us all he wants. He didn't like make that whole storyline just to get people pissed to make it the actual main event. The people actually, I think, changed the outcome of that match. But I digress, whatever. But it's just the timing and the setup for all of that just would not be able to happen again. And if it would, that would be kind of impressive. It would just be like I don't know. I just don't think it could honestly realistically happen the way it did. It wouldn't be as near perfect as it was the second time. It might be like, if this was like 95%, then the next time it could maybe happen, it would probably be 90, or it would be 85, or it'd be 80. It's never going to get to, like you said, it's just the white rabbit. It's never going to get to the potential in just the outcome of WrestleMania 40. It's just never going to realistically happen again. Could it? Who knows? But yeah, it's just anybody who got to be a wrestling fan around that time was very lucky, because boy, that was a lot of fun. That was just a very fun time to be a wrestling fan. But maybe someday, maybe they'll surprise us. But for this year, though, I don't think that's going to be the case. But hopefully, it's just I would like to think it would be better than last year's. Like, you can't have two stinker WrestleManias in a row, because if they do, oh boy, that'll
I
be a
don't think that's gonna
problem.
happen. I think it's gonna be. I honestly am an optimistic wrestling fan, and I think this is going to be a decent WrestleMania. I'm not gonna. I keep my expectations low, so I'm never disappointed.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be a great WrestleMania. I feel like this is gonna be a pretty good WrestleMania. And pretty good means it leaves some room, it's got some good
Yeah.
areas and some iffy areas. But in the meantime, I'm really into all the matches that are announced. I think
Mhm.
they're doing a good job of building the story. I think they're doing a real good job of building CM Punk and Roman Reigns as the legitimate main event. And as a wrestling fan, I am excited for that legitimate main event, because I think they have done a great job making this look like there's some bad blood between
Oh
these
yeah.
two guys, and makes you want to see them go at it.
Yeah.
These pull
Yeah.
apart brawls have been something else.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like we can judge it afterwards, because hindsight, is a funny thing, but it's just like, I think at the end of the day, we always go through the test of, was it worth my time watching and was it worth my money
Right.
watching? Which obviously that remains to be seen. We'll see if that is true or not once we get through all of it. But yeah, it can't get much worse than last year's. So you know what? There's that. Well, at least we can at least say that, apparently. But anyway, so moving on. Speaking of actually now, should we keep the WrestleMania ones going and then go to the others?
I
I feel
guess
like
so,
it
yeah.
probably makes sense. Yeah, we'll go with that. So mom wanted to know if we saw the Ryan McKinnell comments about John Cena and WrestleMania, which, as we know, he's now the host of WrestleMania, and as we also know, it's supposedly to help with the wonderful ticket sales that don't exist right now.
Mm.
And McKinnell's comments, and I actually had it up on Twitter here. So he said, and I quote, "You could resurrect Jesus fucking Christ and have him wrestle Hulk Hogan in a real Hell in a Cell match, and it wouldn't justify the prices TKO's charging. They're delusional." And he also went on to say some other things, but I don't want to open that can of worms on the podcast because it gets very political very quick. But I do agree with what he said. We'll just say that. If you want to know what he said, just look it up. But the thing is, he's not wrong. Like, it almost feels as if WWE, and I mean, of course, we've beat this into submission with this topic of the prices and whatever, but it's like it's almost like they feel like they can have it both ways, and they really can't. They can't say that, oh, well, we're a sports entertainment business, and a good chunk of our demographics still like families, but then turn right around and charge prices that you would for like UFC events. Like you can't have it both ways. Like you can't have sometimes the prices of a monthly mortgage on a house for these like tickets. And I honestly haven't checked the prices in a while because it's just like I feel like it would just be the same thing because it's still going to be over $1,000 for a 2-night combo to sit up in peanut heaven at Allegiant. So it's like it's still ungodly, it's still ridiculous, and it's just funny to me that they even tried that 25% off of the holiday deal, which is not what it was. It was a we're desperate and we need to sell these tickets deal. They still couldn't sell them. So that tells you that even if you're putting those tickets on a deal and people still aren't biting because they're still too expensive, maybe, just maybe, you're being a little too greedy. But clearly they don't seem to care too much because all they care about is, oh, guys, we broke the gate attendance for this. Oh, we broke the grow. This is the highest grossing insert pay-per-view since literally last year because we charged maybe $250. This year we charged $300. So it's just like, I just don't know why they're like shooting themselves in the foot and then sitting there wondering, why is my foot bleeding? It's just like, guys, these are self-inflicted corporate greed like issues that you guys refuse to fix. And I don't know. They just shouldn't be surprised that people aren't spending the money. And also because here's a shocking idea. To some people, this may be, I don't know, incorrect, but it's really not if you actually think about it. The economy sucks. The economy fucking sucks.
That's
so
true.
you can't really justify spending this kind of money on tickets when some people can barely afford their car payments or some people can barely afford to pay their bills. They're not going to take out, I mean, most reasonable people aren't going to take out an extra mortgage on their house, or they're not going to refinance shit to go to a WWE show. It's not the end all be all. We're not going to die if we don't go to the show because we can't afford it. And the thing is, too, you also look at it, is that some people just really aren't as invested in WWE right now for plenty of reasons, in and out of the ring, but kind of like take me for example. Do I have the money to spend to get some of these tickets? Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe not the WrestleMania prices. That's fucking ridiculous. But the fact that I could have afforded to go to SmackDown on Friday, I just didn't want to because I had other priorities. So it's like, so some people just aren't choosing to go even if they can for whatever reason or another. And it's just like, WWE can't be surprised. And
No.
no offense to John Cena, he's not going to fucking sell that place out. That like most people aren't going to spend that much money just to see him have one singular segment or maybe some segments throughout the like weekend. That's not going to move the needle enough, I wouldn't think. And if you think that it is, then
yeah, I think that's the crazy thing is that they're still gonna sell out. There's still gonna
I don't know
be
how.
there's still gonna be a massive amount of people that are gonna show up for this event. They're still
I don't
gonna
think they're going to sell out though, because
I
they didn't sell out last year.
they're gonna sell out. They always raise the bar, whether I don't know if the numbers are inflated, which they probably are.
Oh,
But
they are.
but I honestly think it's just gonna be another one of those things where like we can complain about the prices and justifiably so because the prices are outrageous if you're you know branding yourself as a family friendly entertainment. Not in this economy.
Mm-mm.
It just doesn't work that way. But as long as the people still show up and as long as people still buy tickets, they're still gonna say that their price range is justified. They don't care about you and I the working class that are just working, and just barely being able to pay your bills. They don't care about those type of people. They're not
Yeah.
trying to reach those type of people. That
I'm doing the live research as we're talking right now to see how many tickets are still available, but keep going.
but they don't care about us folk. They
No,
want the folk
not at all.
that are not only going to pay the price for the ticket, but also going to pay $45 for a t-shirt and also pay $60 at the concession stand for food and drink.
Yeah,
And they consider that a successful consumer. Uh,
which is wild, but it's
a successful mark, as they say. Um,
yeah,
and that's just the way it is. It's capitalism. It's corporate greed.
yeah. All right, so I mean, there's a bunch of resale tickets up here, so take with that what you will, obviously. There's still some chunks of sections up in the 400s that are still available. But even then, keep in mind, this is, let's see, row 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows back from the last row in this building. Keep in mind. So you are 4 or 5 rows up from the end of this building, and it is still, for 2 nights, $460 a seat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's still insane. I mean, it's sad that that's almost at over half of what it was originally, because those same seats in that same area were like 1,500. But still, you add and that's another thing too, because Ticketmaster getting let off the hook for all these god awful service fees and shit. You're still going to spend almost $1,200 for 2 seats to sit and see them like wrestle as grains of rice, because that's how small they're going to be. It's like, that's not worth it to me at that point.
No, no.
Like when we went, yeah, we weren't like so close to the like top of the arena, but we also were still in the like upper level, but we were close enough that it's like, okay, yeah, you can still kind of see them, but it was also just like, okay, we're there, but I also spent $75 a seat, not 460. Like it's just like not feasible. And the problem is that's still not including hotel, that's still not including transportation, that's still not including like food and entertainment and all the other shit you're gonna probably do when you're there. So
Yeah,
it's
because
just
you also
like,
have to pay for a ticket. I mean, what's the point of going to that WWE World exhibit to
yeah,
watch everybody else get their picture with the superstar, and
and
you
there,
just stand there like a goof, like.
yeah. Yeah, and God forbid you try to go and, oh, well, I mean, I can't get into WrestleMania, but I can still like go and experience everything and watch it. It's like, no, you can't. You can't, because they're blacking it out. Like,
Yeah.
so what are you going to do? Sit in your hotel with your computer and watch it on ESPN? Like, no, it's just, you might as well just do all of that, spend some money on pizza and stuff and wings, and just do it from the comfort of your home. Like, it's just insane. It's just insane that they continue to do this. I mean, maybe this is, hopefully, like, they're going to learn their lesson after this, because again, for them to at least go from 1,500 up in the 400s to 460 is, we'll just say, progress. It's baby steps. It's just sad that that's still a lot of money to go and sit that high up. Like, that's still not worth it to me. Even
Well,
if
I
they're like,
mean,
oh, we jack the price or we like drop them really low. It's like, yeah, guys, that's still fucking insane. Maybe for if you charge that to like sit down in the 100s, that's one thing. That's a little more justifiable. But 5 rows up from the end of this arena, like, guys, come on, please.
well, the thing is, what's funny is they can't really look at this one as an experiment, because the next one they're going to is going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So it's just like you can't gauge that, because I don't know how many people are from the States that are gonna make the
Oh,
trip to
God.
Saudi Arabia for
Also, why would you?
WrestleMania.
Why would you want to?
I mean,
Like
that's
that?
just nuts.
No, like they're not. They're not the most progressive country in the world. But then again, and you hate saying it, but that's the truth. It's like there's a subsection of WWE fans that don't really fucking care about that, and they probably agree with the politics and whatnot over in Saudi Arabia, so they'd feel right at home. But here's the thing: when you're in another country, especially with the way things are going right now, they don't care which way you align and whatever. You're immediately just an American and people don't like you.
Right.
It's just you're lucky that it's in a place like Saudi Arabia where you can get away with that. I mean, if it was in Canada or stuff, good fucking luck. But it's just like, yeah, we thought the original WrestleMania prices would be nuts. Imagine trying to go over to Saudi Arabia. Like,
Yeah.
those just, at that point, you just have stupid money. And good fucking luck. You know what? You're probably the ones that spend like $600, $700, $800 on those like title belts that are like your team, like your sports team, whatever. Which I'm like, yeah, it's like, yeah, cool that you can get a Penguins or a Steelers or whatever, but it's just like, I'm not going to spend money on it. If I'm going to spend money on a belt, I want it to be like an actual belt. But either way, it's just like, but I also can't justify that because where the hell am I going to hang it up? I can't hang it up in my apartment. I could try, but whatever. But it's just to have that kind of money where that kind of stuff just doesn't mean anything, where it's just like, yeah, we're just going to go and it's going to be great. And it's like, yeah, it must be nice to be that financially stable, I guess. But there are people like that, I guess. You know what? Good for them, I suppose.
Good for them.
I will be enjoying WrestleMania in my apartment. And that's it. That's it. And I won't have to worry about spending that much money. But it is what it is. All right, so we can get away. So we're gonna get away slightly from WrestleMania. We're gonna stay on topic of WWE. Mom would like to know, or not what she was just is curious and confused as to this whole thing with Michin and BFAB aligning with Jay. And I think Mike also has a question about it later. But she said, I just wish Michin could win gold on her own. She's mega talented and doesn't really need to be tied. I agree. She doesn't really need to be tied down. I still don't really understand why this had to be a thing, but I guess this was just to raise the stakes against somebody like Rhea, but sometimes it's very hard to imagine Rhea ever being at a disadvantage of anything, so I feel like it's not really doing it, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of Michin from like the NXT days, even before that, so yeah, it's a little disheartening to just see her be relegated to just being one of Jade's lackeys of all people, because she's has more talent than Jade, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I guess the only positive you can put on it is that she's getting TV time and hopefully most likely will show up at WrestleMania in some capacity if there's a god. But yeah, it's just a shame that this has to be a thing, but it is what it is on that one.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I'm chalking it up to, hey, they need some screen time. They need a reason to get paid, and hopefully this means that they get an appearance. Because I mean, even if you make an appearance on WrestleMania, you get paid. So I mean, that's always nice.
Yeah, so good on them and getting that paycheck. It's just, I wish it was in a bit of a better capacity, but
Yeah.
I guess something's better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more with this storyline, just kind of wait and see how it's gonna go, how it's gonna turn out. I kind of get it. It's one of those things where it's like, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what that's what it feels like. If you can't beat them, join them. So like maybe they're looking at it as this will give more opportunities to Michin and BFAB as a tag team to beef up their credibility to go along with Jade, and then they can splinter off and do their own thing. But I'm just kind of waiting and seeing how it's gonna go.
Yeah, I'm hoping it turns out better for them, but I guess I got to start somewhere at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, so Mom's last question, and I have been waiting for a couple weeks now to answer this question. So Mom wants to know, what is up with Mercedes losing multiple belts in like quick succession? So my problem with this is, it's not the fact that she's losing them, because we knew it was going to happen. We knew the downfall was going to be like huge. The problem I'm having is the fact that they are not acknowledging this happening on AEW TV, and it is really driving me up a fucking wall, because it's very simple. When Mercedes lost the TBS championship, they were already starting with she's having a breakdown. She's like becoming a little psychotic. It's, oh, well, I won a match, so everything's fine, guys. Don't worry about it. I still have all these titles. I'm still great. Look at me. It's okay. So you guys wasted is Tony Khan wasted a great opportunity to literally have this meltdown progressively get worse and worse and worse with each belt she loses. I mean, granted, you don't have to have her fly back to wherever they are every single time she loses a belt. You can have like pre-taped like segments and stuff. It's not going to really hurt it at all. But why is it that people are finding out that she's losing these belts on nothing other than just social media? It
Mm.
just it doesn't make sense to me because you could have made this such a huge thing on AEW, and especially with Tony being out. I mean, obviously we didn't know back then, but now that you know Tony's gone, you could have had her continuously just melt down week after week after week, or just like after every single title loss. And this could have been a big ass deal on your programming, because then this could have set up like the redemption arc where it's like she can't go any lower. She's lost every single solitary belt she can. She literally has two left at this point. So the end is almost near for her. Why could you not have just put this on AEW TV? Because then you're going to have people who would have felt bad for her because, oh, well, I mean, you knew it was going to happen, but, you know, she's just like, it's just, you look at her with empathy and like, or like apathy and just like, oh, you just, or more sympathy than anything. Because then it's like, ah, you kind of feel bad for her a little bit, even though she kind of deserved it. But eventually you could swing it back the other way and have people root for her again and root for her to succeed and move on to like the AEW Women's World Championship. But no, we just have to find out the titles are being lost on Twitter and literally nothing else, and they're not even really acknowledging it on AEW, and it's driving me nuts.
Yeah,
Like, you had it
I
right
think they
there.
only do like they'll do like a quick little segment like saying like she was here at this place, but it's nothing like substantial like what they could
Yeah,
do. What they could
just
do.
have her on like, I don't know, we always used to love the via satellite interviews, so just have them be like, oh, hey, like, Mercedes, how's it going? And she just like again progressively gets worse and worse and worse to the point of like Tony Schiavone doesn't even want to like acknowledge it, where it's just like, oh god, we got to walk on eggshells around her because she's gonna flip again because she just lost. And so she like comes on the screen and it's like, oh, hey, Mercedes, like, how's it going? Like, trying not to set her off.
Mm,
Why could we have not have done something like that? Like, we could
yeah.
have acknowledged it so much more. And again, I'm not saying she loses a belt in Poland and she has to like fly back to Tennessee or something for AEW the next like week, but it's just like you could have had something taped or something somewhere to show the progressive like mental decline and just psychotic breakdown she has at loss after loss. But it just, they really wasted it, and it really annoys me because I feel like that's what I thought. We all thought they were building it up. They had no problem acknowledging her winning all these belts.
Mm.
That's, they wouldn't shut up about it on TV every time she won one. So it's just like, so we can acknowledge she wins all of them, but now it's just like we barely can talk about when she loses them because there's more of a story to be had there. So it's just like, I don't, it's just baffling to me how they've just like not acknowledged this a lot. And I don't know. It's just, I was hoping I wasn't the only one that was thinking this way, but it's just, it's been driving me up a fucking wall the last few weeks.
No, I definitely feel they could have done more. Um,
Yeah.
especially now, like the I feel like the women's division in AEW can use some bolstering and can use a little bit of that Monet rub, you
Yeah.
know. Um, but eventually she was gonna have to lose all. She was gonna have to lose all these belts. Eventually,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
the fun was gonna be over. So I
Yeah.
really don't. I really don't know if AEW thought ahead to be like, hey, we could use this to capitalize and make some angles out of this and make some
Yeah.
TV moments out of
Clearly not.
this. But yeah, they kind of, if they didn't, they definitely let the ball drop on that one.
Yeah, which unfortunately is not the first time they've done that, because there have been quite a few instances over the years of like, how did you guys not see this? Or how did you guys not take advantage of X, Y, and Z? Because it was right in your face the entire time. So the fact that they let this one go too, it's just like, guys, like, and the problem is I can see them bringing her back once she loses all of them and she's just an absolute mess. And it's just like, okay, well, that's like giving you a book and ripping it in half and being like, okay, here's the back half, or here's like the last half of the story. You don't need to know about the first half. Like you're gonna miss context for miles or whatever. It's like you could have had this progressively build up over time and just go into this big grand finale, but no, you just decided to not even let it happen. And it's just like, how do they continue to miss the forest for the trees with these things? Like, I don't understand it. It just drives me nuts with them because the obvious just eludes them so many times that it's just like, what are we doing? What are we fucking doing?
I hear you.
See, I told you I needed to go on one today. I knew this question. I knew this question was coming up because Mom even asked. She's like, "Do you want me to ask about Mercedes?" I'm like, "Yes, ask about Mercedes because I have feelings. I have feelings. I have thoughts. I need to yell."
Well, that's why this podcast exists, so we can get our thoughts and our feelings and yell them out if we need to.
Yeah, and boy did I, because it's just like, I just don't know how they didn't think this one through like that. Like, again, you did the first part of it correctly, where you built up her winning all of them and like Ultimo Monet, like 15 belts Monet, whatever. But then when it came to her actually losing them, you guys didn't think to make that into part of the story as well. Like, I don't know. I'll be interested to see when she comes back what they do. But I just feel like they could have built on this and capitalized on this so much more than they did, and it's just a bit of a letdown, to say the least.
Bit of a letdown.
It's AEW, unfortunately. That's not the first time, but or the last. But all right, but that is all of Mom's questions and comments. So, Mom, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mom, very much.
Alrighty, so we're gonna move on to Mike's. I'm just double checking to make sure we don't have any repeats here. Okay, so we do have a little bit of a repeat, but or I guess kind of a continuation of one of Mom's. So Mike asked, with BFAB and Michin joining Jade, does this cast doubt into Rhea beating Jade at WrestleMania? I hate saying this because it makes me, it's like, sounds completely contradictory to what I just said, but it's also just like, I don't think the team right now, let's just say, of BFAB and Michin really makes me think, oh God, Rhea's really in and over her head this time. I don't think she can do it. It's just like, no, I think Rhea still has a good chance of winning. I don't think those two being there is going to make it worse. I mean, obviously it's like not helping her right now, but I just don't think ultimately it's going to cost her the title. But that's just how it is right now, unfortunately. It just doesn't seem like a formidable, like, team they got going on right now, but it's just, I think it's also just a testament to how good Rhea is, that it's just like you really have to stack the deck against her for anybody to be like, oh, I don't know if this is it. But yeah, I don't think that those two are really gonna ultimately cost her that title. But I could be wrong, but I mean, we just know how Rhea is, and it takes a lot to keep her down, and I just don't think BFAB and Michin are going to be the ones to be the straw that breaks her back.
Yeah, I'm strangely looking forward to the match just to see if they have any sort of chemistry with each other, because I feel like with Jade, every time she comes out, it's like, okay, like she's not the greatest, but she's definitely not like goat shit green, like she's definitely can get it done. Like, why is this sudden like start and stop with Jade all the time, especially as the champion? They haven't really built up any legitimacy to her reign as champion because they haven't given her any opponents.
No.
So I'm thinking that kind of sways me. If I was to drop a prediction right now, that sways me into thinking that they're going to put the belt on Rhea because they feel stronger with Rhea as champion.
I do find it kind of hilarious, though, if you really think about it, because it's just like you said, they haven't really given her any, you don't want to say credible opponents, but just like, I guess we'll just say like believable, competitive kind of opponents. So let's just throw her immediately into the deep end by giving you the most popular, one of, if not the most popular wrestler on your roster right now in Rhea. Like, that's going from like a kiddie pool to like the depths of the sea at that point. Like, if she can hang, she can hang. And if not, I mean, I guess in their mind, maybe it's just like, well, if you can't hang with the best, then how are you going to hang with anybody else, I guess. But they're also just not really like fully doing anything. I don't know. Like I said, it's just so weird that, and we've talked about it before. I guess just the whole, you had to give it to Jade because if you didn't drop it off of Tiffany, it just would have been kind of the same old, even though maybe Jade wasn't really ready yet in their eyes, but yet you still did it anyway, and you can't be surprised that this is what you're getting. But I don't know. If Rhea can't bring out the best in Jade, I don't really know who can at that point. So we'll see how the match goes. But yeah, I just feel like I don't think we've seen enough. I don't want to say I don't think we've seen enough from Jade for her to beat Rhea and not have it be like, why would you fucking have her beat Rhea? But I feel like I guess we don't trust her enough to beat Rhea because they've shown they don't trust her enough, so why should we? Like, I don't see any credible, reasonable scenario where Jade beats Rhea, even dirty, where it's just like, she shouldn't lose to Jade, period. So, I don't know. I mean, it would take a lot of convincing for me to be like, oh yeah, Jade can beat Rhea, no problem. It's just like, yeah, no, I can't see that, not right now, anyway. But that's again of their own creation because you haven't given us a reason to trust Jade to do anything. So, except stand there and look cool, I guess. Like that's pretty much what she's got, and that's the thing. It's like we've never doubted her charisma and her look, but it's just kind of everything else that we've kind of had to like go start and go on. So I don't know. It's just a little confusing.
It is, but I feel like they're gonna get it right for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I would think so. Like, but again, I just, like you said, if we had to do predictions right now, and unfortunately, I feel like even when we do have to do the predictions, I don't think it's going to change. Jade's not beating Rhea. There's just no way. I don't think. But maybe they'll convince us in the next few weeks. I just really don't think it's going to happen. But that's just us. All right, so now that I jumbled his questions up, I do that a lot. All right, so who is Randy talking to on the phone, and when will they be revealed?
I don't think it's gonna be revealed. I don't think it's gonna be anybody. I think it's sort of a
Fake
thing.
out.
Yeah, a thing to just throw you off. You know, I don't
Yeah,
think
because
anybody.
nobody really makes any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make it doesn't make sense to have somebody align themselves with Randy Orton like he needs any help. He doesn't really. Obviously, we've seen from the buildup of this storyline the way he destroyed Cody Rhodes about 2 weeks ago. He really doesn't need any help getting over in the storyline.
Not at all. I think. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time WWE's faked us out before. So it's just like not everything has to have. I don't want to say reason, but not everything has to have an explanation. And there's going to be some fans where it's like, well, what happened with this thing where he was on the phone and nobody ever, what was that bullshit? It never happened. And she's like, okay, well, it doesn't always have to be. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't always have to have an explanation. I mean, there are some things where yes, there should be, but it could just be to fake you guys out. And clearly it's working because we're talking about it. So yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see any believable anybody that could help him because like you said it perfectly, he doesn't need the help,
right?
Like at all. So I think it was maybe just a fake out, and I'm kind of hoping it is a fake out because I just think that anybody getting thrown into it would do a disservice to the storyline in general. So yeah, just leave it the way it is. But we could be wrong. It could be somebody, and then we'll talk about maybe if that's like worth it or not. But for now, I don't think it is. I think just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right, we'll just do this one real quick. So, Road Dogs obviously leaving WWE. Will we see the older aged Outlaws in AEW?
I hopefully hope not.
I don't think so. I mean, why would you?
Nah, I think AEW is gone away from signing every single piece of WWE that has gone away. I think they've not necessarily put a halt to it, but like there hasn't been any big, like Andrade was the last one.
Yeah.
But even that had some dust up, you know?
Yeah.
So that would probably deter them from going after with anyone that was once a WWE talent. You know, they might be
Yeah.
wanting to stay away from that.
Yeah, and I think that that's just the problem is that they've already had this predetermined notion put in fans' heads of like, oh, well, they left WWE, they have to go to AEW. It's a rule. It's
Right.
like it's an unwritten rule, and it's just like, no, it really doesn't. Because what's Road Dogg gonna do at this point in his career? Like, really, like, what is he
Right.
gonna do that's gonna actually like benefit anyone? And I feel like that sounds very mean, but it's true because it's just like he would probably even agree. It's just like he's not really needed anywhere. It's not gonna be like no company's gonna crumble without his help or his guidance. So it's just like it's not a big deal, guys. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Trust me.
I think we'll be okay without Road Dogg in AEW.
Yeah,
We'll
I think the
survive.
company I think the company will be just fine. Trust
Yeah.
us, guys. We know what we're doing. All right, so I'm gonna definitely save that question for last because that's gonna be a fun one to yell at. How many pieces of canvas have we bought to have our names put on the ring at Mania?
Do you know how much it costs to get your name on the canvas at WrestleMania?
Was it 10,000?
No, nothing outrageous like
No,
that.
that was the bus ride with Cody. Apparently, it was
The bus
$10,000.
rider, yeah, it's $1,500 to get your name on the canvas at WrestleMania.
Well, Mike, remember when I said I didn't spend money for SmackDown tickets? Now you know where the money went, clearly. But no, like I spent not as much, but a little less than that for my gaming laptop. So I feel like I have a little
But
more use out of the laptop than I would for putting my name on a fucking ring canvas at WrestleMania. It's just,
imagine if I went to you and said, Shay, I spent
like, guess what?
$1,500 to get ringside rundown on the WrestleMania canvas, as if that's gonna do anything for our brand.
And you know, the first thing I would say to you, I'd be like, why the fuck did you do that? Like, it's just, again, it's just turning into these experiences and these like price tags and whatever. Once again, just an opportunity for people to flaunt their stupid money and their fuck you money because 1,500 for your name on the canvas. $10,000 fucking dollars to go on Cody Rhodes' bus for a day. Like, what is with you guys? Like, what is fucking going on? Even when Cody himself's like, yeah, that was a little high, I thought. And it's just like, and unfortunately, people are going to still attack him no matter what. It's like, he didn't set the price, unfortunately. He just, I don't know. It's just like, it's Vegas. It's like this, all of this stuff is just so stereotypical Vegas that it's just, it makes you shake your head.
Yeah,
It's just
Vegas
insane.
costs money.
Yeah, Vegas is, you almost want to say it, overhyped and overpriced because none of that's worth it. Like, no way. Even if we had the money, we're like, what would be the point of putting the ringside rundown on the canvas? Like, what's the point of it? It doesn't do anything. Like, except like, I don't know, give us a quick like ego trip or something. Like, hey, look, that's our name on the WrestleMania canvas. Look at that. And it's just like, okay, well, no one else would really care except us. Like, my mom would care. Mike would probably care. I mean, I guess the listeners would care, but still, they'd also probably just be like, "Why'd they spend that much money?" Like, we have better things to spend that money on than a canvas. But good luck to the people that did it.
Yeah,
It's just
hey,
like, why
if you
the hell?
got the money, you go for it. If you got the money to do it.
Again, must be nice to have that kind of money, but whatever. All right, double checking to make sure I don't miss one. All right, so we have two more questions for Mike. So this one is retire a wrestler's gimmick and restart a wrestler's gimmick.
Okay,
Which
so
wrestler's gimmick are we getting rid of?
we're getting rid of El Grande Americano.
Oh, the original or the new one?
The original. The new one's making money in Mexico.
Yeah,
The
that is
new
true.
one's making money in Mexico. The original OG Chad Gable isn't doing shit, but
Not at all.
the Kaiser one, it gets massively over in Mexico. So it's making if I'm the one in charge, starting and stopping gimmicks, I'm looking at that and going, hey, well, at least he's making me money.
Yeah.
You know?
I completely agree on that one. Can't really think of any other one that would be like, yeah, we need to get rid of it. Restarting a wrestler's gimmick. I feel like the one that jumps out, I think the one that just like sprang into my head, I guess, is can we please restart Black and Gold NXT Johnny Wrestling, please? Like please. Like, the whole like comatose whatever thing's funny, but it's also just like the fact that it's happening to Johnny Gargano's just like it makes you shake your head because you know what he could be. I think that's just the problem too. When you were like in the thick of like Black and Gold NXT, you see what he was and what he is now, and it's just like a joke.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he shouldn't have had like a funny gimmick because he already did. He had the way. That was funny. That was entertaining, but he was
Yeah.
also still Johnny Wrestling at the end of the day. And it's just like, God damn it, I miss Johnny Wrestling. Those are some really fucking good matches back in the day. NXT Black and Gold was just like, those were the good old days. Like, God damn it. Yeah, I would definitely bring that one back. I'm honestly thinking if there's any other gimmick we could retire.
Whatever Leo Rush was trying to do.
Oh God, the black.
Yeah.
Was it black heart or something?
Yeah, whatever
Like,
that was. Whatever that was, get that away from me.
that was a little cursed.
The funniest thing, it reminds me of an Eddie Kingston quote where he talks about having to be an innocent bystander to some of the ideas people present to Tony Khan and them
Yeah.
being dog shit ideas, and Tony Khan's still the type of person that will listen to the idea and try to like brainstorm and work it out with you. Where like Eddie is like, this is such a brain dead fucking idea. Why are you going after it?
Yeah, it's true though. He's too nice to say no to certain things, but
He really is.
yeah, like Christ. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't think I could top that one, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm just sitting there watching the stuff on Twitter going like, what the fuck am I watching? Like,
Yeah, it was just so weird, dude. It was like, oh my God, get that away from me.
just like sage the ring after that because you might need it. Like, get that devil magic away from us. Ugh, like no, that is definitely not it. So actually, I do have something I don't think we have done in quite a while on this show. So we have one more question from Mike, but then I also have something that I remember seeing. I think it was this weekend, and I feel like it would be pretty fun to see our answers to that question. So I'll hold off on that one until after we get done with Mike's last question. So Mike's last question was a very hot topic within the wrestling community over the last few weeks, and for good reason, because the topic of the conversation's a fucking moron, and I mean Ricochet. And the fact that this idiot cannot shut the fuck up on Twitter. So Mike's question is, okay, so Ricochet tweets at a fan with MS. So to give context to people that may not have seen it, because not obviously everyone follows Ricochet and not everyone pays attention. So apparently some fan was like, like giving him shit on Twitter, as fans do, because they are allowed. And he pretty much was just like, yeah, I'm glad you got MS. That's literally what he said. I'm not even like,
I don't mean to laugh, but I mean, it's just like
how stupid do you have to be?
Oh my God.
Like, I get that you're trying to be the bad guy and whatever, but I feel like you think you'd have some level of intelligence to know that certain things are kind of off limits, like, people's like physical disabilities and illnesses and whatnot. So he spouts off. He's fucking stupid. We all agree. Like, obviously Mike says something completely despicable because it's like, yeah, there's certain things you just don't say, and that is definitely one of them. And then after catching enough hell, then apologizes. So are you surprised that he's still employed? No, I'm not, because some of the people that AEW employ, you kind of can't really have that double standard. So it's just kind of like, it's still stupid, but I feel like the thing that kind of blew my mind more about the situation besides his just unfathomable stupidity of saying something like that was the fact that he wasn't going to apologize until Chris Hero said, "Hey, buddy, you should probably apologize." Like, and I loved how he still tried to spin it in his apology, or he was like, "Oh, I apologize because I let my hatred of the internet wrestling community, like, I took it out on her." And it's just like, dude, that is such a fucking cop out apology. Like,
Hmm.
I'm just trying to stay in character and I just hate wrestling fans so much I just couldn't help it. It's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, I didn't already like you to begin with, and I sure as shit don't like you now. Like,
Hmm.
once you start saying shit like that, it's just like, no. You just, like I said, there's just shit you don't say. And to bring up somebody's like physical disability or mental illness or something and flat out just say, yeah, I'm glad you got it, whether it's in character or not, that's shit. Like, that's really shitty. And it's like, dude, come on. You're a grown ass fucking man that should know better, and clearly you don't. So, good job, buddy. Like, it's just, you still can't learn to, clearly you don't. You need some social media training because holy fuck, you could use some of it.
Yeah. Just a dummy. Just
Just a fucking idiot.
that's the
Like,
best way to put it. It's just a dummy.
literally.
A brain dead dummy, and like I feel like he's trying too hard. That's why I'm not buying
So
into
hard.
this. That's why I'm not buying into this gimmick. He's trying
No.
too hard to me. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it
It comes
seems
off
so
as desperate.
forced. Yeah, it seems forced and desperate.
Yeah. And it's just like, dude, anybody with any wrestling sense can see right through you. So it's like, fucking relax. Like, again, just to go that far with it is just like, again, even if you're trying to stay in character or whatever, you're trying to like clap back at the fans online, because yes, we, the fans online are terrible, like, understandably, but to stoop that low is just like, come on. Like, did you really not think that one through? Or did you really, it's one of two things and they're both bad. Either you were so oblivious and ignorant to think that, oh yeah, if I say that, it's not going to really be that big of a deal, or you said it maliciously and then you're even more of an asshole. But either way, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You all the flack you got. And yeah, I didn't really buy that apology either. So it's just like, okay, dude, whatever makes your conscience, whatever makes you sleep at night, I guess. But it's just like, Jesus, if you can't think people couldn't get any dumber, it's just like, it just gets worse and worse. But
Yeah,
it's just fantastic and it just makes you shake your fucking head. But,
definitely does.
God. Anyway, so that was all of Mike's questions. So, Mike, thank you. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Mike.
Appreciate it. So, my last little question we're going to leave off on was, it was off of Instagram, and it was somebody interviewing Killer Cross and Scarlett, and they were asking them both three simple questions. In their opinions, obviously, who in their opinion was, I'm trying to remember if I remember them correctly, but still pretty obvious. So, who is in their mind, or our minds in this case, the ultimate babyface in wrestling,
Mm.
like of all time, the ultimate heel, and then I think it was like their favorite match or matches. Like, just this, like, just because. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool to actually talk about on the podcast. So thankfully I remembered it. So I'll give you some time to give you a minute to think, because obviously I've had a couple days to think about my answers. So some of these answers might surprise our listeners and some might not. But to me, I feel like the ultimate babyface in wrestling history, I think, has to be Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, because
Okay.
I mean, the guy was just a total, like, the epitome of a good guy his
Right.
entire career, and they wanted him to turn heel multiple times, and he's just like, I'm not doing it. Like, I mean, good on him for staying that way, because he could have easily just done it, but he didn't feel right in doing it. And you know what? Good for him for resting on his laurels, and good on him because, again, he became one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time. Not to mention one of the better wrestlers of all time, better technicians of all time. So I'm glad he stuck with it, because I wonder how different things would have been if he tried being a bad guy. Because we always talk about it. if you can tell a wrestler's not comfortable with something, it's going to show, like, it's going to be glaringly obvious.
Right.
If it's like you said, if it's forced, if it's fake, if they just don't believe in it. And so if it's like we said earlier, if they can't believe in it themselves, how are we supposed to believe in it as the fan? So for him to be like, look, I just don't like this. I don't think it's right. I'm going to continue to be a good guy. And I think it paid off dividends for him as a wrestler. So I'd say he was the ultimate baby face. Ultimate heel, you can honestly say quite a few, and you could be like, yeah, that makes total sense. I feel like the one that always stuck out to me was Roddy Piper.
Yep.
Because, I mean, when he had to get special jackets because he was getting stabbed, that pretty much means you're doing your job correctly as a bad guy back in the day. I mean, obviously, I can't do that now, but in the wrestling environment back then, that meant you were doing your job right for sure. So he was my ultimate heel. And then I feel like I've touched on these a couple times, some of my favorite matches, but it was funny because when I was talking about it with my mom, she immediately was just like, "Oh, well, your favorite match was Britt and Thunder Rosa in the Lights Out match," and I'm like, "That was up there. That was one of them. Was up there. That wasn't my favorite one though. I feel like my all-time favorite, I think, still is Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane at Evolution.
Nice.
That's still one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites, and you know this match quite well, and I'm still mad at you that you got to see this one, was Aleister Black and Adam Cole take over Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Still pissed you got to see that live. I still kind of hate you for it a little bit. Not really, but I'm jealous that you got to see that. But those two for sure. Britain Thunder Rosa definitely was up there, storyline wise and whatnot. I did like that one. I enjoyed that one. And I feel like there was one more, but Charlotte and Becky in the last woman standing match at Evolution 2. That was definitely up there with one of my favorites. Yeah, I'll stick with those four. Those are definitely some of my favorite matches of all time.
My ultimate baby face. I'm gonna give you I got two. I got an easy answer and not so much easy answer, but a little bit more complex. The easy answer is Sting. Sting was the ultimate baby face. I mean, look at Sting against NWO. That's all you need to know right there.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Right there. That's it.
Let's
So
go
to
on.
me, he was the ultimate babyface. But another one that I would always figure out to be an ultimate babyface was the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dusty was just a man of the people. Like a common man was definitely what Dusty Rhodes was.
Yeah.
You know, he was an everyday man, every day for the people. And it didn't matter what race you were, it didn't matter what your orientations were or anything like that. It's just as long as you were a fan of his, he was going to ride and die for you. So he was the ultimate babyface. You kind of took my answer for the ultimate heel, so I'm going to go a little bit more modern. I still think, despite sometimes going for the low-hanging fruit, MJF keeps the heel vibe alive. You know, he still can generate that heat that can get you white hot and get you stabbed by the people if you're not too careful.
He would be getting stabbed back in the day. If he was in Roddy's day, he would have definitely gotten stabbed repeatedly.
Exactly.
So yeah, I get that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, when he's not going for the low hanging fruit, you know, this town sucks, everybody's fat and ugly, you know, he really can be a great heel. It's just he kind of relies on that crutch a little bit too much.
Yeah, I would agree on that one. It's a good choice, and Dusty's definitely another one too. That was definitely a good one. He's up there as well, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, so favorite matches.
Favorite matches for WWE, my favorite matches would be The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. And I'm going to steal from NXT TakeOver Philly, Andrade versus Johnny Gargano. Still to me, the best match I've ever seen live in person.
Yeah,
I've
that was
never
a good
seen
one.
a better match live and in person. So there's that. And for AEW, Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson at All Out.
Yeah, that's another good. Yeah, all good ones.
Or All
Honestly,
In. Was it All In or All Out? One of the alls.
I
Maybe
always lose track as to which one's which now. I think it's all in.
I think All In. Were they? They weren't in the UK. They were in Texas. This one was this
Yes.
Texas.
Or what? No, all right, hold on. Let me. All right, I'm do my investigative journalism.
Yeah, because I have a shit memory when it comes to this stuff.
This would have been 2024, wouldn't it have been? Or no, it would have been 25. No, it would have been 24. No, it would have been
Yeah,
24.
24.
Oh, my computer still thinks that I'm like being shady when I Google things, I guess. Fake. All right, so proved I was human, so that's good. I was all in London.
London. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my all-time favorite AEW match. I just the emotion that for me when we do like the match ratings and stuff like that for like the pay-per-views and stuff like that, for
Yeah.
me, I don't really give anything a 5 flame rating. I think I've only given out one since we started doing the ratings. Because for me, something to get a 5, it had to make you feel something, you
Yeah, to be near
know?
perfect.
Yeah. It didn't have to be like the perfect wrestling match, but if it made you
No.
feel something, if it
Oh
made
yeah.
you feel something, if it changed your emotion, then it was definitely worth that, giving that high rating to. And Swerve and Bryan Danielson was just amazing. I always go back to that one spot where Swerve is hitting Bryan with these roundhouse kicks to the chest, and Bryan is rising to his feet with blood streaming down his face, staring at his children, going, I love you with every kick. And with every kick, it's
Yeah.
harder and harder. And he's screaming, I love you. I love you. Like, if that doesn't make you feel something,
Yeah,
then
you're
wrestling
somehow.
might not be for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree on that one. That's a solid one too. That's definitely a good one. Um, all right. Well, I think we answered my question, I guess. So it's nice to have those little extra ones that just kind of pop into our head when you are searching on the
For
internet.
sure.
So
For sure.
all right, so we did it. We did everything.
All right, we got through all the questions. Thank you guys for submitting your questions. Thank you for helping us make this an easy show. I thought this was going to be a light one, but not really. No, this is our typical episode. So thank you guys for
Yeah.
participating in the episode. Just to let you know, if you would like to submit a question for the Ringside Rundown podcast on a future episode, there are 2 ways that you can do so. The main way is every Monday afternoon when we confirm that we're going to be recording an episode, I ask for questions to be submitted on Twitter. If you go to our Twitter account at Ringside Rundown, the pinned tweet asks for you guys to submit your questions for the podcast episode. As long as it's wrestling related, we'll answer it. It could be a question, a comment, opinion. If you just want to hear us voice our opinion on something, that's fine as well. But again, you can go to our Twitter account, and the pin tweet on the Twitter account asks for questions every Monday afternoon. All right. And then another way you can do so, if you're a little bit more technically savvy, is we
Yeah.
have a Discord server. And if you're familiar with Discord servers, then you know the channel listing. And in our channel listing, we have a specific channel for podcast questions. So if you're Discord savvy, in the description of this episode on the platform that you're using, it should have the link to invite yourself to our Discord server. All you have to do is just make sure you verify that you're a human by checking off the green check mark, and then you'll be accepted into the Discord, and then you can see the whole list of channels that we have going on there. One of them, again, is for podcast questions. So if you want to submit your podcast questions through Discord, you can do it that way too, and we keep track of that as well. Where can you get this episode and future episodes? Well, that's a very good question. You can find this episode all across the board on all podcast streaming platforms and available on YouTube. It's available on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Good Pods, Audible, Amazon Music, basically wherever you listen to podcasts. It should be there, and all you have to do is just use the search button, search for the Ringside Rundown, hit that follow or subscribe button, whatever the platform asks of you, and you should never miss an episode when it comes out. Now, if you so happen to not be able to find an episode, just hit us up on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. The handle is at Ringside Rundown. Again, that's at Ringside Rundown for Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Hit us up. Let us know what platform you use so that way we can get you the episode on a silver platter. But you have to give us back the silver platter because it belongs to Shay's mom, and she once participated in Josh Barnett's blood sport. So
Yeah.
she is a danger to society if she doesn't have her silver platter. So you have to give it back to her.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. That was a good one. I like that one.
You like that one? That one straight off the dome. Straight off the dome.
Very nice.
But once again, also to let you guys know, all episodes are available on our YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/@ringsiderunpod, you can find episodes of the podcast available there as well if you don't use a podcast platform but still want to check out an episode. And finally, to let you guys know, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, I am live on both Twitch and YouTube, multi-streaming, reacting to live programming, whether it be from WWE, like WWE Raw or SmackDown, or AEW Dynamite or Collision. I am reacting to those programs. I'm starting to implement different forms of content. Like, I'm starting the streams a little earlier, and what we'll do is we'll watch something from like the WWE Vault channel, which to try to diversify content where we can all watch something and you just don't have to all the whole stream focus on my ugly mug watching and reacting and making noises to wrestling. So we're trying to implement new things with the content, add a little bit more wrestling viewing and having fun with that. So thank you guys for all coming through and checking out the streams. Again, it's on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch.tv/Ringside Rundown is the handle. Available all Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We do the reaction streams portions at 8 p.m., but usually we start a little earlier. Again, another place to get updates on Ringside Rundown streams is to hit up the Discord. I always update the Discord whenever we do a stream or it's a day that we have to stream. I update the Discord exactly what we're doing. So make sure, like I said, in the description, you get a hold of this Discord link and you join up and join our little community. Shay, where can they get in touch with you?
Oh, I don't know if I can top that. That was a good little run there you had.
Thank you.
You might need to give you a minute to catch your breath there. That was a lot. No, you guys can find me on Twitter, my wrestling Twitter at @ShayRingside_. We always joke, it's just like Eric's. I just copied the homework, except it's my name instead.
She stole my gimmick.
I did. I had to. It was too good.
Now we'll be back with another episode next week, probably answering more questions on the road to WrestleMania. So if you have those WrestleMania questions before we get into our big prediction episode, make sure you drop those on our next episode for the podcast. Again, on Twitter at Ringside Rundown every Monday, asking for submissions for questions. Okay, guys? So for Shay Hickson, my name is Erik Vasquez. We're going to get the heck up out of here. You guys have a good night. Take care.
See you later, guys.